My name is Marissa Kane, 30 years old. Last Saturday, the dinner table in our old house on the bluff near Mobile, Alabama turned into a battlefield with one sentence. My stepmom leaned forward, fork midair. "We're tired of living together like this." My dad gave a sharp nod. Colton kept his eyes on his plate, jaw tight. I felt the air shift. No hesitation. I pushed back my chair. "All right, I'll move out." The room froze. No one tried to stop me. No apologies. No second thoughts. Just the echo of my words hanging there. Next morning, 5:47 a.m., before the bay fog lifted, I dragged 2 suitcases down the creaky stairs. Keys in hand, trunk slammed, engine growled. I backed out of the driveway, tires spitting gravel, and drove straight into the sunrise. No rearview mirror glance. No goodbye wave. Gone. Comment 1 if you've ever had to choose yourself and never looked back. 1 year earlier, my phone rang at 7 p.m. I was in my tiny downtown mobile apartment, laptop open, wrapping up a client pitch for the agency where I handled marketing campaigns. The caller ID showed Trisha Moss, my stepmom. Her voice cracked through the line, panicked. "The bank's foreclosing. We're losing the house if we don't pay up now." I set down my coffee. She explained how the mortgage had fallen behind, letters piling up, final notices ignored. Richard Kane, my dad, had promised to manage everything after marrying her, but clearly he hadn't. They needed cash fast, or the bluff house overlooking the bay would be gone. At that point, I had built a solid life on my own. Rent was affordable, promotions came steady, and weekends meant brunches with coworkers or quiet runs along the waterfront. But the house held memories of my childhood before the divorce, before Trisha and Colton entered the picture. Dad begged in the background, saying family stuck together. Against every instinct, I agreed to help. The next week, I broke my lease. The penalty hit $2,000, eating half my savings. I packed boxes into my sedan and drove the 20 minutes to the old neighborhood. The 2-story structure looked the same, faded blue siding, creaky porch, but the vibe inside had shifted. Trisha greeted me with a quick hug, already listing bills. Dad clapped my shoulder like I was the solution to years of bad choices. Colton, lounging on the couch with his phone, barely glanced up. First thing, I tackled the backlog. 3 months of missed payments totaled over $5,000. I transferred the funds from my emergency account, watching the balance drop to almost nothing. Then I set up autopay for the regular $1,800 mortgage straight from my paycheck, no delays. Utilities followed, electricity, water, internet, all switched to my name to avoid shutoffs. Dad promised he'd chip in soon from his insurance sales gig, but I didn't hold my breath. Trisha mentioned Colton needed reliable transport for community college classes starting soon. His old beater kept breaking down, stranding him. I researched used SUVs online, found one under warranty, and covered the down payment plus first insurance installment. Dad nodded approval, saying it would keep the kid focused on studies. Colton took the keys without a thank you, revving the engine like it was always meant to be his. Groceries became my domain too. Trisha handed me lists heavy on organic produce, premium cuts, specialty snack stuff way beyond basics. The weekly haul topped $300 charged to the card I added her to for emergencies. Dad stocked the fridge with craft beers and fancy steaks, claiming he needed them for client meetings at home. I swallowed the expense, figuring stability would pay off eventually. Freelance gigs filled evenings. After agency hours, I designed logos for small businesses, edited ad copy, anything to rebuild what I'd drained. Sleep shortened to 5 hours, but the numbers stabilized. The bank stopped calling, notices quit arriving. Trisha relaxed, planning weekend outings. Dad bragged to neighbors about my big city job saving the day. Colton upgraded his wardrobe, posting new outfits online. I kept track in a spreadsheet, contributions versus outflows. My column grew heavy, theirs stayed blank. Dad waved off questions, saying markets were slow, but a big commission loomed. Trisha suggested I automate more payments to free her time. Colton asked about upgrading the home Wi-Fi for better streaming. Each request landed casual, expected. Avery, my college friend who still lived nearby, met me for coffee one afternoon. She listened as I vented about the drain. "They're treating you like an ATM," she said bluntly. "Your dad included." "When do you draw the line?" I brushed it off, insisting it was temporary. "Family first, right." But doubt crept in during quiet moments, staring at the bay from the back deck, wondering how long I could sustain this. Months blurred into routine. Credit card statements arrived thicker, each cycle, charges stacking from every direction without pause. Trisha added premium streaming subscriptions for movie nights, then upgraded the cable package to include sports channels Colton demanded for game days. Dad ordered a 75-inch smart TV online delivery scheduled midweek, insisting the living room needed an upgrade for entertaining potential clients. The bill landed on my desk at work over $2,000 before tax. Colton's community college semester kicked off with a tuition invoice I hadn't anticipated. Books, lab fees, parking permit, all routed to my email for immediate payment. I wired the funds before lunch, skipping my own meal to avoid dipping further into overdraft. Groceries evolved into daily runs. Trisha texted lists from the store aisle, piling in almond milk, grass-fed beef, imported cheeses that vanished overnight. Weekly totals climbed past $400, charged automatically since I'd linked the family card. Dad justified the TV as a business expense, wheeling it in himself and mounting it above the fireplace. Evenings filled with surround sound booming action films while I balanced spreadsheets in the kitchen, reallocating funds to cover the hit. Colton sprawled on the new sectional, another impulse buy Trisha swore was on sale, complaining the old couch hurt his back during study sessions. Avery met me outside the agency one Friday after hours. We grabbed takeout tacos from a truck near the Riverwalk, sitting on a bench as gulls circled overhead. She scanned the latest statement I pulled up on my phone. "Your dad's in on this too," she said, pointing to the electronics charge. "They're all treating you like an ATM. When does it stop?" I laughed it off, claiming things would balance once Dad closed a big policy. But her words stuck echoing during late-night drives home. Personal indulgences disappeared first. Weekend yoga classes got canceled, too expensive with gas prices rising. Dining out shifted to packed sandwiches at my desk. Coffee runs became brewed at the office to save $5 a day. Freelance projects multiplied. I pitched social media management to local boutiques, crafted email campaigns for startups, anything with quick turnaround. Invoices went out at midnight, payments trickling in to plug the latest gap. Trisha scheduled dentist appointments for Colton, orthodontist consultations she insisted were urgent. I covered co-pays and follow-up, scheduling around my own deadlines. Dad mentioned his truck needed new tires for safety on sales calls. The quote from the shop exceeded $800. He left the estimate on the counter, expecting action without discussion. One evening, Dad cornered me in the hallway after Colton retreated upstairs. "You have responsibilities to this family," he stated, voice low but firm, "whether you like it or not." The words landed heavy, implying obligation trumped fairness. I nodded, retreating to my room to process another transfer. Laundry piled up as I worked weekends folding clothes between video calls. Trisha asked for contributions toward a new washer-dryer set. The old one rattled too loud during her shows. Colton requested gaming peripherals to stay competitive online with friends. Each ask came wrapped in necessity, delivered casually over breakfast. Bank alerts pinged relentlessly, low balance warnings, upcoming autopay confirmations. I adjusted budgets nightly, trimming streaming trials I never used, canceling subscriptions layered under family profiles. Sleep fractured into segments, alarm set for early agency meetings. Avery texted midweek, checking in. I confessed the exhaustion during a quick call from the parking garage. She urged boundaries, suggesting separate accounts or limits. Implementing felt impossible without confrontation, so I doubled freelance hours instead, eyes burning from screens. Dad hosted a barbecue for colleagues, stocking coolers with craft brews and grilling ribeyes I prepaid through the Butcher app. Guests praised the setup, slapping my back for hosting prowess I funded silently. Cleanup fell to me while others relaxed on the deck. Colton aced a midterm celebrating with takeout sushi charged to the card. Trisha planned a spa day reward for herself, booking massages and facials under my name for rewards points. Statements reflected every indulgence, balances creeping toward limits I juggled with transfers. Freelance income stabilized the hemorrhage but eroded time. Birthdays passed unmarked, mine included no gifts exchanged amid the outflow. Avery sent a card with coffee gift cards, a small lifeline I used sparingly. Dad repeated the responsibility line during dinners, framing support as duty. Trisha echoed agreement, Colton nodding along between bites. The dynamic solidified, requests flowed one way, gratitude absent. A Tuesday afternoon changed everything. I arrived home from the agency earlier than usual, mail scattered across the kitchen counter amid takeout containers from lunch. Amid the flyers and coupons sat a thick envelope from the credit card company addressed to me but unmarked as urgent. Curiosity pulled me to tear it open right there, unfolding pages of transactions that made my stomach drop. The statement totaled $8,000, exactly a figure higher than any previous cycle. Line items jumped out in bold: a designer handbag from a boutique in New Orleans for Trisha, charged during a weekend trip she called essential retail therapy. Below that, the full price of the massive TV Dad had installed weeks earlier, financed through the card for zero-interest promotion that somehow never applied. Colton's entries included premium sneakers and custom orthotics, labeled as medical, but paired with gaming store receipts. I sank into a chair, scrolling further on my phone app for details. Dates aligned with family outings I funded but skipped, purchases made while I crunched numbers at my desk. The balance carried forward from prior months, interest accruing on amounts I thought were one-offs. How had it escalated this far without a single conversation? Next, I logged into the college savings account Dad set up years ago for Colton's future. I contributed monthly via automatic transfer, a habit started when I moved in, to ensure education stayed priority. The dashboard loaded slowly, then displayed zero across every field. Contributions listed my name repeatedly, yet withdrawals erased them all. Transaction history revealed transfers to a checking account shared by Dad and Trisha, routed through what looked like cash advances. Panic mixed with fury as I cross-referenced dates. The fund dipped below half within the first quarter, hitting empty just last month. No notifications triggered because I wasn't primary owner. Dad held that role, allowing silent drainage. I printed screenshots, evidence stacking on the table like a puzzle assembling itself. Deeper digging uncovered a payday loan agreement co-signed by both Dad and Trisha for $6,000 at 25% interest. The lender's site showed origination last spring, funds dispersed to cover overdrafts from the same checking account. Repayment schedule demanded hefty chunks monthly, explaining recent cash shortages they blamed on market fluctuations. The loan bridged gaps from the emptied savings, a desperate patch over deeper holes. Colton wandered in for a snack, spotting the papers. His eyes widened at the statements, but he said nothing, grabbing a soda and retreating upstairs. Later review of shared family cloud storage revealed messages between him and Trisha discussing the fund's status weeks ago. He acknowledged the depletion in texts, agreeing to keep quiet if his allowance continued. Screenshots captured his thumbs-up emoji to her plan for covering tracks with the loan. I confronted the numbers alone that night, calculator app open beside bank logs. My contributions to the savings exceeded $10,000 over the period, vanished without trace beyond their spending. The credit card carried my name solely, liability falling entirely on me, despite unauthorized additions. Interest on the loan compounded weekly, pushing total debt into territory that threatened my credit score. Evidence compiled into a folder: printed statements, login histories, loan documents, downloaded text exchanges photographed. Each piece confirmed a pattern of deliberate concealment, family members coordinating behind my back. Dad's insurance commissions never materialized to offset Trisha's part-time gig. Covered cosmetics, only Colton's campus job existed in name, but paid minimally. The realization settled cold. Every payment I made enabled the depletion my trust exploited systematically. The house mortgage remained current thanks to autopay, but personal accounts hemorrhaged. Emergency fund rebuilt from freelance sat vulnerable if patterns continued unchecked. Colton emerged again around midnight, headphones around his neck. He glanced at the folder, face paling, but offered no explanation before slipping back to his room. The silence spoke volumes, complicity clear in avoidance. Trisha and Dad slept soundly down the hall, unaware the veil had lifted. I secured the documents in a locked drawer, mind racing through implications. Credit utilization neared maximum potential hits to future loans or apartment applications looming. The loan's aggressive terms risked default cycles if ignored, collections calling relentlessly. Sleep evaded me entirely, scenarios playing out. Confrontation promised denial, deflection onto my role as provider. Evidence countered excuses, but emotional fallout guaranteed chaos. The fund intended for Colton's degree now funded luxuries, his awareness sealing betrayal. By dawn, resolution formed: gather more proof, protect assets, plan exit. The statement's weight lingered physically, pages creased from handling. $8,000 represented months of overtime sacrifices erased in swipes. Work offered the only bright spot. The agency landed a national client, launching a rebrand across multiple markets, and leadership tapped me to lead the digital strategy. Meetings stretched into evenings, brainstorming sessions fueled by takeout and whiteboards covered in timelines. Colleagues collaborated seamlessly, ideas flowing without the weight of hidden agendas. Deadlines loomed tight, but the challenge energized me, pulling focus from home frustrations. Weeks of preparation culminated in a pitch presentation that impressed executives. Feedback came: swift promotion to senior strategist, effective immediately. Salary jumped 30%, bonuses structured around campaign milestones. For the first time since moving back, future plans felt tangible: savings goals, potential investments, breathing room beyond survival. I drove home that Friday, eager to share the news, rehearsing casual announcements in my head. The house buzzed with weekend energy, Trisha prepping appetizers in the kitchen while Dad flipped channels on the oversized screen. Colton lounged nearby, scrolling through car listings on his tablet. Dinner plates hit the table, conversation light until I cleared my throat. Big update from work, I started smiling. The national account went through and they promoted me. Pay increase starts next cycle. Trisha paused mid-slice on a cheese platter. Good, but Colton needs a new vehicle for classes. She gestured toward his tablet. That old SUV keeps stalling on the highway, unsafe for daily commutes. The shift landed immediate, my achievement reframed a solution to his problem. Dad set down his fork, leaning back. You earn more now, so contribute more to the household instead of planning personal moves. His tone carried expectation, as if the raise obligated deeper pockets for collective needs. No congratulations, just calculation. Colton perked up, eyes lighting. Sweet, then fund this gaming laptop I found. High specs for rendering projects, basically school essential. He slid the device over specs, highlighted price tag 4 figures. Jealousy flickered beneath the request, success twisted into his gain. The responses cascaded without pause, each layering demands atop my milestone. Trisha detailed reliability issues with Colton's current ride, quoting mechanic estimates for repairs exceeding trade-in value. Dad emphasized shared expenses rising with inflation, positioning my income as equalizer. Colton bookmarked configurations, adding peripherals to the wish list. I sat stunned, fork untouched. The promotion meant stability, yet here, it fueled escalation. Previous contributions already stretched limits, but this felt predatory: celebration hijacked for upgrades. Trisha suggested test drives tomorrow. Dad nodded approval. Colton grinned at the screen. Conversation pivoted to logistics financing options, warranty extensions, delivery timelines. My input sought only for payment methods, preferences on color dismissed. The evening dissolved into planning their acquisitions, my role reduced to financier. Later, alone in my room, the pattern crystallized. Achievement triggered extraction, not pride. The raise intended for independence now earmarked for their convenience. Colton's school needs expanded with every windfall, Trisha's necessities, endless, Dad's fair share undefined. Agency emails pinged with congratulations from team leads, virtual high fives in group chats. Reality at home contrasted sharply, success weaponized against me. Boundaries blurred, further requests justified by proximity. Weekend errands included dealership visits, Trisha driving potential replacements while I trailed with credit details. Dad reviewed contracts at the kitchen table, highlighting incentives. Colton tested infotainment systems, volume blasting demos. Signatures required my name, liability mine alone. Back home, laptop arrived via express shipping, Colton unboxing with excitement. Setup tutorials played loud, Trisha admiring the sleek design. Dad commented on processing power suiting business too, hinting at shared use. The cycle reinforced progress met with palms out. Promotion perks redirected before deposit, autonomy illusionary. Recognition from colleagues sustained morale, but domestic drain intensified. Avery called Sunday evening, sensing tension in my voice. I recounted the dinner ambush demands piling on. She listened quietly, then advised documenting everything separately. Professional wins deserved protection, not plunder. Yet implementation stalled amid daily pulls. Trisha scheduled oil changes for the incoming vehicle, Dad adjusted budgets, assuming my bump. Colton customized the laptop software downloads, racking data overages. The insight settled, success invited exploitation, family viewing prosperity as communal pot. Individual advancement threatened the status quo, prompting immediate claims to maintain balance. Friday evening brought the final straw. I returned from a late client call, house quiet except for the hum of the refrigerator. Trisha's phone lay face up on the counter screen, still lit from recent use. Notifications stacked, but one thread caught my eye: messages exchanged with Dad earlier that day. Curiosity overrode privacy. I tapped in, heart rate climbing as words loaded. Trisha's text read, "When Marissa moves out, we'll all be more comfortable." The timestamp aligned with my promotion announcement at dinner. Dad replied almost immediately, "Tell her to move out. She's making plenty of money now, she can take care of herself." No emojis, no hesitation, just cold strategy typed out in plain view. I stood frozen, phone heavy in my hand. The plan unfolded in follow-up suggestions for casual complaints about space, hints at independence suiting my new role. Trisha proposed timing after the next paycheck, ensuring mortgage coverage transferred smoothly. Dad agreed, outlining how to frame it as mutual benefit, avoiding direct confrontation. The device slipped back exactly as found, screen dimming to black. Upstairs, muffled laughter from Colton's room filtered down, oblivious or complicit. I retreated to my space, door closed softly, mind processing the betrayal in layers. Promotion celebrated hours ago now. Catalyzed eviction, income, spike the trigger for expulsion. Action demanded immediacy. Laptop opened, I compiled digital files. First credit statement scanned from prints, bank exports downloaded with transaction IDs intact. College fund history saved as PDF, zero balance glaring. Payday loan docs pulled from email archives, signatures highlighted. Phone photos captured the message thread, timestamps preserved, conversation threaded chronologically. Physical copies followed, printer whirring, low pages stacking neatly. Envelopes labeled by category sealed for security. External drive backed everything twice, cloud upload encrypted under new account. Each step methodical, erasing digital footprints from shared devices. Suitcases emerged from the closet, dust wiped clean. Essentials packed efficiently, work attire, folded toiletries, zipped laptop charger coiled. Personal documents transferred to a portable safe keys duplicated earlier that week. Wardrobe thinned to necessities, leaving excess for appearance of normalcy. Motel search launched incognito 30 minutes north budget chain with weekly rates. Booking confirmed under alias, payment prepaid via virtual card. Confirmation emailed to fresh address printed as backup. Route mapped avoiding main highways, gas tank topped earlier. Colton passed in the hallway, nodding casually en route to the kitchen. No suspicion registered, focus on late-night snack. Trisha called from the living room about weekend plans, voice carrying expectation of my involvement. Dad remained in his study, door ajar, television murmuring stock reports. Packing paused for normal interactions. Dinner cleanup, shared dishes loaded without comment. Conversation steered neutral weather forecasts, local events. Inside detachment grew responses automated while mentally cataloging exits. Night deepened, house settling into silence. Final sweep ensured no traces, browser history cleared, recycle bin emptied, temporary files deleted. Suitcases wheeled quietly to the garage positioned near the side door for quick load. Car keys pocketed, alarm preset for early departure. Reflection surfaced briefly, years of support reduced to inconvenience, once self-sufficiency threatened. The messages confirmed priorities, comfort over kinship, finances over fidelity. Decision solidified without regret. Path forward clear. Alarm buzzed at 4 a.m., volume low. Final checks completed, lights off, notes. Absent presence erased. Bags lifted into the trunk under cover of darkness, lid closed softly. Engine started remotely warming without noise. Driveway exited in reverse, headlights off until the street. Motel check-in, smooth clerk uninterested in details. Room keycard swiped, door locked behind. Space sparse but private, bed, made desk clear, window overlooking parking lot. Laptop powered on, files reviewed one last time. Evidence organized into timelines, annotations added for clarity. Sleep came fragmented, mind alert to sounds outside. Dawn filtered through curtains, coffee brewed from in-room machine. Agency schedule adjusted remotely. Personal day requested, citing family emergency. Approval granted without question, flexibility a perk of the new position. Messages from home began mid-morning, Trisha inquiring about breakfast preferences, Dad reminding of yard work rotation. Colton texted about game invites. Responses delayed, then generic busy with work calls. Tension built unseen, their casual tone contrasting my knowledge. Preparation extended to finances, new bank account opened online, direct deposit rerouted starting next cycle. Credit card limits frozen, authorized users removed. Mortgage autopay paused, pending review, escrow balance sufficient for one cycle. Utility transfers initiated to primary names effective immediately. Documentation emailed to myself from secure server, copies mailed to post office box rented yesterday. Layers of protection ensured access regardless of confrontation. Motel extended another night buffer for transition. Afternoon brought quiet, planning apartment listings, browsed criteria, narrowed to downtown proximity. Lease applications prepared, references lined up from colleagues. Budget recalculated with single income focus, promotion cushion providing leverage. Evening settled with takeout from a drive-through eaten at the small table. Television channels flipped idly, volume muted. The isolation felt liberating, decisions mine alone. Messages unchecked, phone on airplane mode to preserve battery and peace. Night 2 at the motel reinforced resolve. Sleep, deeper dreams untroubled by obligations. Morning light signaled next phase, checkout timed before rush hour. Drive back planned via alternate route, arrival unannounced. Saturday morning arrived crisp. At 6 o'clock sharp, I eased the car from the motel lot and merged onto the quiet boulevard, windows down to let the early air clear my head. The drive south took under 30 minutes, familiar turns leading back to the Bluff House one final time. No traffic delayed the approach. The neighborhood slept under weekend hush. I parked curbside, engine off, and loaded the remaining boxes stacked overnight in the garage, items too bulky for initial escape. Doors locked behind me with a soft click. Keys left on the hook inside as planned. Back in the vehicle, I navigated away without ceremony, the structure shrinking in the mirror until it vanished around a bend. Freedom settled immediately, no second thoughts clouding the horizon. Downtown Mobile beckoned, temporary apartment secured midweek through agency connections, lease, signed digitally for immediate occupancy. Afternoon found me settled at a coffee shop, corner table, laptop connected to secure Wi-Fi. Emails drafted separately to Dad, Trisha, and Colton. Subject lines: neutral bodies, concise. Attachments bundled, every piece of proof scanned, statements detailing unauthorized charges, bank exports showing fund depletion, loan agreements with signatures, message screenshots time-stamped. A single paragraph explained the decision to withdraw support effective today. Autopay canceled, account separated. No accusations, just facts presented for review. Send buttons clicked in sequence, delivery confirmations popping up. Phone switched to do not disturb, volume muted. Responses flooded predictably. Dad called first, voicemail raging about ingratitude and family betrayal, threats of legal action over shared property. Trisha followed, sobs echoing through recorded pleas for understanding and reconciliation. Colton texted repeatedly, promises to repay, mixed with begs for one more chance, emojis pleading. Each contact blocked progressively, numbers, emails, social links, severed clean. Agency work resumed. Monday, promotion responsibilities, diving deep into campaign launches. Colleagues noticed the lighter demeanor, attributing it to reduced commute. New routines formed, morning runs along the riverfront, evenings, unwinding with books or freelance wrap-ups. Apartment furnishings arrived piecemeal, minimalist desk, comfortable sofa, plants adding life to neutral walls. 3 months slipped by in productive rhythm. News filtered through public records and mutual acquaintances, avoiding direct contact. Mortgage payments lapsed without my contribution, bank notices escalating to foreclosure proceedings. Auction scheduled, properties sold at sheriff's sale to cover debts. Dad, Trisha, and Colton vacated under eviction notice, belongings crammed into a single moving truck destined for a one-bedroom unit in a rundown complex on Mobile's south side. Colton dropped community college courses, mid-semester credits. Lost enrollment deferred indefinitely. Double shifts at a warehouse and fast food counter filled his days, paychecks barely covering rent share. Dad's insurance license lapsed amid missed renewals. Client leads dried up, position terminated for performance. Job searches yielded warehouse stocking or delivery gigs, pride swallowed for survival. My path diverged sharply. Savings rebuilt steadily, promotion bonuses funding investments and emergency reserves. Apartment lease extended annually, location central to work and amenities. Social circle expanded through professional networks, dinners with Avery becoming monthly highlights. Phone number changed, old email archived, digital footprint scrubbed of family ties. Encounters never occurred, no chance meetings at grocery stores, no holiday invitations ignored. Mutual friends respected boundaries, updates shared only when pressed. The separation proved absolute peace earned through decisive cuts. Their consequences stemmed directly from sustained exploitation, resources drained without replacement, led to collapse once the source vanished. Attempts to maintain lifestyle on diminished income accelerated downfall, debts compounding unchecked. Colton's education sacrificed for immediate cash. Dad's career stalled by neglect, Trisha's comforts reduced to essentials. The story illustrates a clear lesson: enabling dependency without accountability invites ruin, while prioritizing self-preservation fosters independence. Boundaries protect prosperity. Generosity without limits erodes it. Thank you for listening to the end. Your attention means the world. Share your thoughts in the comments. What would you have done differently, or does this resonate with your experiences?